What's going on, everybody? This is People in Politics with Noah Harbuck. I have a special guest here today, Monroe County Chairman Alan Gibbs, brand new Chairman Alan Gibbs. How's it going, Alan?
Good, man. Good, doing real good. Thanks for having me in here. You got an awesome setup here.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you were my second interviewee. Eric was my first. This is my second one. So we're hitting the ground running, and I hope we get a lot of views out of this because you're new and a lot of people don't know about you, but they voted for you.
Yeah, I'm finding that out.
But so let's start with your race. So there was no Democrats, so you just had to run in a Republican primary,
Right.
And what made you want to run?
So to start with, I live out in the country, Monroe County, and it's in a rural area out there, and I don't know, 7 or 8 miles off the interstate, and there was a proposed warehouse coming in, literally across the road from me. And I was, obviously upset about that, and my neighbors were upset about it, and we had contacted our county commissioners, and they didn't really want to have it. I didn't feel like they were giving us the attention that they needed to give us for it was a 1,000-acre project. It was a big project. And so I started gathering up my citizens around me, my neighbors, and saying, hey, let's get some meetings, let's talk about this, and let's try to protest it in a way that we can get some attention and just gravitate the commissioners to at least acknowledge what's going on out here. Mm-hmm. And I invited some of them to come to the meetings, and they declined. And at that point, I thought, I'm just not being represented the way that I want to be. So how do you fix something? You can't just sit around and complain about it. Yeah. You got to get some skin in the game. So that was a couple years ago. And I guess beyond that point, I started going to the meetings and paying attention to what was going on. A lot of stuff was going great. There was the last few decisions. I got to give all the county commissioners that are no longer there some credit. The last few decisions they made were fantastic decisions, so they did a good job with that. And anyway, my race after that, I started running, and I bought a few signs and a couple little mobile billboards put up. And I only knocked on one door, which is unusual. I think most people go out and beat the doors down. I didn't do that. I turned to social media. I tried to think outside the box and bring something new in. And I just started making short videos and posting them so people could get to know me a little bit. And what I've learned through that is there's a connection that when you see somebody on your screen, your phone, whatever, you start bonding with that person in negative or positive. Either way, you at least get to know something about that person and how they react to things. So it was instrumental in me winning this race, I think, was social media and short video platform.
And you and you have an active TikTok.
I do.
I do follow your TikTok. I followed it probably about the time the election started ramping up. And what I love is the dogs, watching the puppies. You having puppies, and I think Diesel is a great name for a Great Pyrenees. Yeah. I think that's probably the coolest name you could have given them.
I wanted something that projected strength and power, and there's a lot of common ones like that, but I thought that was different.
Yeah, it's a pretty good name. And then what is your TikTok? What's the name of your TikTok?
It's Alan Gibbs. It's Alan Gibbs. I don't post a lot of political stuff on there. Occasionally I do. It's mainly just nothing professional either. It's mainly just stuff around my house and goofing around, vacation, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you, I see you go offshore fishing a good bit.
Yeah, not as much as I want.
Oh yeah, I love fishing. I got my fishing pole. I got my oh my gosh, Daiwa. What is it called? It starts with a D.
Yeah.
But I love going to, whenever I go to the beach, I got to find a pier. That's my favorite thing to do is fish off a pier, or if I can't find a pier, just a cove somewhere I can get a line wet.
Yeah. I think, I've got some early reports that now that the Gulf of Mexico's changed the Gulf of America thanks to Trump, that the fish actually taste better and fight harder. Oh. So we'll see.
They definitely will. Somebody said it's been day 2 of Gulf of America and we already got snow.
Yeah. Oh, he fixed global climate change. Trump's going in doing a good job, man.
No, that's exciting to me. I love watching politics. I just grew up loved watching it and paying attention to it. and I actually was out of it for probably about 5 years when I worked down in Macon. But then once I moved back here, I got right back into it, watching everybody and getting to know everybody. But what was your first step into getting in the election? I mean,
Well, I guess our backgrounds are a little different. I was not active in politics necessarily, so to speak. Now, I tried to keep up with federal politics, and prior to the warehouse trying to come in next door, which turned out it wasn't even a warehouse, but that's another story. So I really didn't know. There was a lot of stuff that I just didn't know, and I had a lot of advice from people that I think were trying to give me good advice. But at the end of the day, what I wanted to project to everybody is this is who I am. This is not. I'm not going to do something the way somebody else did just because that's how they've always done it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's always a bad thing, but we have to look outside the box a little bit as we move forward, and specifically in this county. I mean, and I'm sure we'll get into some more detailed things about growth and stuff through this conversation, but politics, when I walked into it, I basically didn't know anything about the local government. I didn't know anything about how to run for a political position. I didn't know any of that. So the last few years has been a major learning curve, and I've enjoyed every moment of it. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun running an election because you get to meet so many great people.
Yeah.
So what did you do work-wise? I know Ambrose says you're a railroad man.
Yeah.
What did you do for the railroad?
So I work for Norfolk Southern. I've been there for 14 years now, and I started off in the field as a signal maintainer, foreman on a gang, which was installing new construction stuff. So I was used to managing people through that, and previous things in life too. Previously I was in some land clearing, grading, real estate stuff like that. But when the economy took a dump back in 2008, I had to, like many people, go find something else. So, but then I went through all that with the railroad, out in the field working, really learning the job and what that looked like and how to make things work there. And then after that, I took a promotion to the school in McDonough, where all of our classes come down and train there. Well, while I was there, I got promoted a handful of times, and now I'm the senior training coordinator there at the school at McDonough for the signal side. And I cover a 22-state network, mainly working with our managers. So I go out and give evaluations to our managers, help the training for them, try to develop the managers as they go out, because a lot of them are brand new out of college, electrical engineers and stuff. Try to develop their skills to manage people and be able to actually do the job too.
Yeah. So you said before that you did land clearing, grading. What did you have your own company, or did you work for somebody?
No, I worked for a developer that's out of Atlanta for several years actually, maybe close to 10 years, I can't remember. And I was heavily involved with River Forest as it went in. Then I've had a couple business partners along the way where we bought and sold some land, houses, a trailer park at one point in time. So I've got a pretty wide background that doesn't even always tie together, but I've got a lot of different things that I've experienced through life.
So did you grow up in Georgia?
No, I was actually born in Danville, Kentucky, and I lived there till I was, 11, 12, somewhere in that ballpark. You're asking me some hard questions, Noah. and then I went, my dad was an over-the-road truck driver, so we moved to Florida where his dad was at, lived down there for a few years.
Where at in Florida?
Palatka, Florida.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All of my mom's side of the family lives in Florida.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if my mom had a choice, she'd go down there tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like Florida, but this is home.
Yeah.
And anyway, we lived down there for a few years, and then my dad's work brought him here. And when I got here, I fell in love with the place. Met my wife here. Actually, her brother was one of my best friends, and that's how I met her.
Right.
We were married in 2001 on Juliet Road at Maynard Baptist Church down at the old church, and now we've got 3 kids, one about to graduate UGA, one about to graduate college, and one in 2nd grade. So we've got them kind of scattered out.
Yeah, they are scattered. I'm the youngest of 4.
Okay.
And the next youngest is 6 years ahead of me. So I was kind of separated from them growing up. Other than, I slept under the same roof, but we were in the same grade, and it's definitely different being the baby. But you said your oldest is about to graduate college.
Right.
And I think I met him at Peaches in Politics. Does he work for Tyler Harper?
He did. He had an internship with Tyler and had a great time. I got to meet Tyler. Tyler is an amazing person.
Tyler's awesome.
Yeah,
I put him right in the middle.
You got his sign up there. Yeah, he's an amazing person, and he really treated James well and got to show him around politics. And I think when James called me, he's like, Daddy's got a helicopter, and we're going to go for a helicopter ride somewhere. So he was nervous about that. And then later he called me. He said, that wasn't nothing. The next time we flew at night somewhere, that was even more nerve-wracking for him. But
dude, it's Tyler makes you when he speaks, he makes you want to run through a wall. He gets you hyped up.
It's a leader. I mean, that's what we need. We need people that'll stand up and say, hey, this is the direction I'm going, and you're saying, well, hey, I want to go that way too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope he stays in politics and not just as ag commissioner, but he's been great at that.
Yeah.
But I hope he steps up and runs for something else, really, because he's got my support.
Yeah, me too. I guess this is obviously a disclaimer here, but I'm a Republican, just in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, so far I think the two people I've had are Republicans, but I hope to have people from the other side of the aisle too on, because they're the main thing is I want people to see that you're a human being too. You're not a robot or trying to you're part of the deep state or anything.
No.
so I want people to know that this is the people in leadership. They have lives too, and they have wives, kids, and they just love what they do because they love other people.
Yeah.
Because we don't run for politics to help ourselves. No. Especially like me and you, we wouldn't run for politics to help ourselves. We do it to represent other people.
Right.
Because we feel like we would be good at representing other people. But let's go to the county. Okay. What is something you're excited about dealing with in the county?
I'm excited about help managing some of the growth in the county. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, the previous board did a fantastic job there in the latter part of last year to get what I believe some good growth in our county. The data center's coming in. I know the developer of that very well. I believe he's going to do a fantastic job with it. I'm extremely excited about that. And when you think about that kind of growth, what you have is a very large tax base that provides it's not a lot of jobs, but it's a handful of really good paying jobs. Mm-hmm. And it's a very low impact on the surrounding community. And that's the kind of stuff we need to have in here. Mm-hmm. The Oglethorpe power plant that's coming in is another good example of that. It's an extension of what's already there. It's not like we're reinventing the wheel. They were already there.
Yeah.
They're going to be a good part of our community. Oglethorpe, I got to brag on them some too. The way that they handled that zoning was probably the best that you could have done. Like they had a meeting there at their plant for the local people that it would affect the most, and they got to come in and talk to them and understand what's going on and actually see the plans and could ask questions. And it was just an open forum. It was like a meet and greet with Oglethorpe, and they could not have done a better job with that. I think Eddie Rowland had a lot to do with that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited about, like you said, that brings people into the county that will also live in the county and not just come in here and live in Macon, where there's a bunch of apartments and it's a little bit cheaper to live, and then drive up to Monroe County. But those jobs provide enough salary for people to come and buy a home here in Monroe County.
Right.
And hopefully spend more money in Monroe County rather than going to Macon, which one thing I'm excited about on that exit, and we're talking about Rumble Road, is Buc-ee's.
Right.
When they said Buc-ee's was coming, I said, show me the beaver nuggets. I was excited. I love, I think that place is extraordinary. It is, I think the food is good. I love going to the one in Warner Robins whenever I go south, because you just get a styrofoam cup with a soda and usually a brisket sandwich or a smoked turkey sandwich and some beef jerky.
Right.
And then you get to see all the it's kind of like Walmart of convenience stores. You just get to see all the characters that go in and out of there too.
I'm excited about Buc-ee's. you know, it's going to bring more traffic on that exit, obviously. But there's plans on how we're going to mitigate that, and they've got a good plan set up. So, you know, I think that's going to be a good fit there. People, there were some concerns from the citizens that I heard, concerned about people getting off the exit and then driving around the county. I don't see a lot of that happening. I think the majority of the people that go to Buc-ee's, I mean, your experience was the same. I think you just said it. You basically got off the interstate, went to Buc-ee's, got all your stuff, and then what'd you do?
No, I don't go into Warner Robins.
Yeah, you got back on the interstate and
Yeah,
continued
that's
on.
absolutely what it's going to be. What I am interested to see is when you get out and start pumping your gas, you start hearing gunshots from the from Meadows.
Yeah.
The clay shooting place right next door. I'm interested in seeing what people think about that.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, it'd be like,
you're gonna stay away from that.
I'm gonna stay away from what I was about to say.
But so that's enough about Rumble Row. What any other exciting projects that you see that's public already? I know there's a lot of things that we gotta kind of keep down low, because there's a lot of companies. Like we had one, I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but it got out that they were coming, and then they decided not to come.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that comes up, and I'm still really trying to understand the thought process of why on some of that. One of the things I ran on was transparency, so I want to be as transparent about things as I possibly can be. The development authority handles the early stages of that, and a lot of times the commissioners don't hear about it until it's actually they already got a pretty good plan set in place.
Yeah,
so
they're applying for zoning.
Right. Hopefully we hear about it before the end. We have a commissioner on the board there, and I wanted to be on that board, but it just didn't work out where I could do that. So
I watched it.
Yeah, and I get it. There, let's just be honest here. I'm just stepping, like I just said, I don't have any political background, so to speak, and I just stepped into this role as county commissioner chairman, and it is going to be, and it has been, like drinking from a water hose for the last 3 weeks. So, and the other commissioners told me, they said, hey, man, you need to concentrate on what you need to concentrate on, and we've got people that are able to handle this. Let's let somebody else handle it. And ultimately, I agree with that. Was my feelings hurt a little bit there? Yeah, it was, but I understand why they made the decision they made.
I thought they should have waited till you were in office, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, me too.
So we have a new commissioner, everybody, and a new chairman.
Right.
So 2 out of the 5 are brand new, which I think it's bad when all of them are changed at one time. That's why of course there's staggered elections. But when you change all of them at one time, then you're basically restarting. But how has you and Al? I know Al Turner's the new commissioner. How have y'all? Has it been easy? Like not easy, but has it flowed?
The transition has been smooth.
Yeah.
The transition has been smooth, and Greg Tapley was very generous. I've talked to him since I've taken over. He was the previous chairman. He's very gracious to talk to me and give me advice on things and help me along the way. The other commissioners are too. I can't speak for Al. Him and I have talked some along the way, but I don't know his experiences with what's going on there. I lean heavily on our other commissioners for certain things like procedural, like how do we do this, how do we do that, just so I understand, because there's a lot of things I'm still learning. Yeah. The county manager has been invaluable to me in a lot of ways, helping me guide me in the direction I need to be going. Yeah. The staff up there in general, I can't speak. They're good. It's a good staff. We have a good staff up there. So I don't know if that answered your question well, but overall, I think for the amount of responsibilities it basically just said, here you go. I think it's been as smooth as possible. And I like to give this example to people just so to kind of put it in perspective. Think about you start a brand new job, your first day on the job on something that you really don't have a whole lot of experience in. your first day on the job is recorded in front of a live audience and stored in history forever.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about it like that, there's a little bit of a learning curve here. I'm gonna mute this phone.
No, you're good. So going into county business, the UDO, which is our zoning for Monroe County, what was your thoughts before you were elected of the UDO, and what are your thoughts after election? Are they different?
Not entirely. I think so. It's a 300. I think it's a 300-page document. I've not read the whole document yet.
I wouldn't attempt to.
Yeah, it is a very in-depth document, and our county is a rural county. And I know we're growing, and I know there's a lot of people out there saying, well, you got to have rules, and you do. And the rules we have, you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the UDO we have right now, the way that I look at it, and the way I looked at it then, too, is this document is something that we're going to have to change along the way.
Mm-hmm.
There's some talk about, hey, just throw this thing in the trash and start over. That would also be a lot of work. There's not an easy fix. So somebody said at the last meeting about a different topic, but we can't not do something because it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So as this comes up, there's going to be problems, and we're going to have to face those problems and figure out the best solution for the county along the way, because I don't think they're all going to fit. I don't think everything in that UDO is going to fit us.
Yeah. My granddad was not a chairman, but a commissioner at one point. He was one of the commissioners that started the fire department back in the day. But I believe the way he approached zoning was, thinks of it as government overreach in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, we don't want a 40-story building on our town square. I mean, that's just common sense to me. But there's some things that we can do to make it feel like we're not stripping away somebody's rights when they buy a property.
Right.
And I'm glad they faced the RV situation like that, because I think that's a great alternative, as long as they have proper sewage and water lines in place for those RVs. Because we have I always thought it would be interesting if somebody opened like an RV park instead of a trailer park, an RV park. Because up in Athens, where we go to Georgia games, we have a luxury RV park, $1 million motorhomes parking there, but you own the piece of land that your motorhome parks on.
Right.
You kind of pay like an HOA fee for the internet and the cable and the power and the water and the waste and everything like that. But you specifically park your motorhome there for football season. They don't let you park it out there the whole year. But what people started doing, which I think it's pretty cool, but it's kind of gotten out of hand, was they bought 4 lots, 2, 3, 4 lots together, parked their motorhome on one, and built a giant tailgate house on the others, which is pretty awesome. You get the money, do it.
Yeah.
Most of them just have like little pavilions, but they're I always thought that would be neat for us to do, because that's an option for people that work at Georgia Powers. That's going to be an option for people that work on the power lines that are going to train here in Forsyth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they live in RVs too most of the time. Those union workers do.
Yeah.
And KOA's tiny. So
Yeah.
I always thought that would be interesting.
And it's full all the time, I believe.
Yes, it's always full. Yeah, it's hard to. It's probably easier to find an apartment in Forsyth than it is to get an RV spot
Yeah.
at the KOA, and we don't have a lot of apartments here, as you know.
No.
What is your view on our housing? What do you think? Is there something better that we can do, or you think we're doing it the correct way?
That's a tough subject. So it's hard to control private industry. So the government's not building houses.
Mm-hmm.
Private people are coming in building houses, and they're building houses to sell or to live in. So if you're coming in either way, that's kind of a personal preference on how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said, I have kids, you have kids. We've seen property values increase greatly in the county, and the cost of buying a house here is just out of reach for a lot of people, especially a young family trying to move in. And, there's just not an easy fix for that, because there's only so much. This county is a great county, and there's a lot of people that want to live here, and it's largely to do with our location. I mean, you can live here and work in Atlanta or Macon, and not have to deal with Atlanta or Macon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm not pushing the topic off, but I don't have a magic wand in my pocket to say, hey, we're gonna lower the cost of housing around here to make that work.
Yeah.
It's supply and demand. If you build a $400,000 house and if you're a builder and you build a $400,000 house and it sells, what are you gonna do? You're gonna build another $400,000 house.
Yeah. Absolutely. So with the county, I know we have Monroe County Day up at the Capitol on February 6th. Are you planning on attending?
I am.
That's going to be exciting. Because I took the day off work because I'm going to go up there and go meet a few of my friends that I'd got to meet during my election. But what is it like talking to state representatives? Is it easy to reach them and get them to help you change things in the county, or have you had to deal with something like that yet?
I've not had to deal with that yet. I know of some stuff coming up that I will. I have talked to a few of them, and I can tell you that they put their pants on the same way we do. They're very easy to talk to.
Yeah.
So I don't foresee a problem with any of that.
And then what are your relationships with other counties surrounding us, Lamar, Bibb, Jasper?
I'm 3 weeks in. Or I guess 3 weeks in, so to speak.
20, yeah.
Yeah. And I've gone to my first county commissioner school, and I got to meet some of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we built relationships, in that short period of time that we can call and talk, and we have. And I'm learning, what you learn from that type of education is every county has its unique problems, and every county has its unique situations that's going on, and something that Monroe County just absolutely doesn't want, somebody like in Butler, they would love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different scenario, and it's good to hear all these different things, specifically what worked and what didn't work in their county. And I'm rapidly involved learning about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Monroe County's not a well-kept secret anymore. We have we were fortunate, I don't know, Lord bless us with I-75 coming straight down the middle of it.
Yeah.
Which I think has helped Monroe County grow so much. And I believe it's going to continue to grow. There's nothing we can do about it. But like you said, growth, doing it the smart way and not just putting houses 2 feet from each other.
Yeah. And
making sure that those rules are in place so it doesn't get out of hand like we see up in Henry County. Because there's those, I don't know how people pay that amount of money to live 5 feet from their neighbor, but I guess it's just something you have to do if you're in that area. But I think housing is something that's probably we're gonna have to face a lot sooner than later, because you have people that just can't afford $400,000 houses, can't afford $300,000 houses, even though that's it's just below that is what people call affordable living, is just below $300,000.
Yeah. Inflation has gone up faster than our income.
Yeah.
So all that's catching up with us.
Yeah.
But I think you got a sign here somewhere. I think Trump's working on all that right now.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's this past week. It's been fun to watch it. Are you on X?
No.
Yeah, I love being on X, and I follow Elon and Trump and all the political people on X. And when it gets to that level, I think it's more you get more theatrical.
Yeah.
When you get to that level. And it's just entertainment. It's free entertainment, and I love reading about it. But what it is entertainment that affects me and you every day.
Oh yeah.
But do you think in the future you'd want to go to a higher level, or you just plan on staying at the county level?
I've talked to my wife about this, and I just don't know. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 3 weeks in. I really want to understand where I'm at here and the changes that I can affect here, and see what the next 3 or 4 years brings. I'm not going to rule it out.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to rule that out, but I don't know. I like the small town feel. I like going out to the Waffle House and the guy, you know, the farmer down the road says, "Hey, come over here and drink a cup of coffee with me, and let's talk about whatever." The homestead exemption coming up is another big thing that's on our books right now. So
yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So everybody, I mean, it's not just Monroe County, but everybody seems like they're opting out of it. But I think, from what I know, it was started to help taxpayers.
right.
And then politics got involved, and things started get added to a bill, and people get worried about one thing, so they add another thing to the bill. But I get the essential part of it is for people that have homestead. Like my house, I don't have homestead because my mom helped me get a loan when we first bought this place, so her name's on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with my mom getting homestead at her house, she can only have homestead at one place.
Right.
So I can't get it on mine because her name's on it.
I don't believe this bill would change that either.
No, it wouldn't change that, but it would, and it doesn't affect our current budget. It'll affect
not currently.
Yeah, it'll affect future budget.
Yes.
But I think it lowers. It's very difficult wording, but basically when they do valuations every 3 years now, if you have homestead and they say your valuation is $10,000 more, if the rate of inflation was 3%, then it can't be over 3% of the value. 3% of the value.
Right. Your home value can only go up as much as inflation goes up if you're under the homestead exemption. Mm-hmm. So I was in the commissioner's building yesterday, and Eddie Rowland. You need to have an interview with Eddie.
Yeah.
He had the whole desk laid out with stuff. I got a picture I'll show you. He had the whole desk laid out with notes, and he had sticky notes, and he had big posters set up everywhere, all kind of numbers, and he was going over all that and was trying to explain it all to me. And what I can't remember all the numbers exactly because I'll tell you the truth about it. I was on the fence. I'm still on the fence.
Yeah.
I'm undecided on how I'm going to vote because at face value it sounds like a good deal for the homeowners and it is.
It is.
It is. But you can't. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. That money was allocated in our budget now. So at some point, that money's got to come back in.
Yeah.
And they're in the political view of that was, hey, well, we're going to let you guys potentially get another 1% tax. Now that tax has to go out to vote.
Yeah.
I don't know if that tax would make it or not.
No, what I've told people is I think they should pass it and not pass the tax because it helps your voters. It helps people that are going to vote for you in 4 years. Because in 4 years, they're going to have that tax valuation. Yeah. And I think in 3 years when they see that, and if we don't pass it, they're going to see their taxes went up this much when it could have possibly went up only this much.
Well, what kind of tax break is it when you say we're not going to tax you here, but we're going to tax you there? That's not a tax break.
No, that's not. That's why I don't think they should pass the penny tax.
So
what I think is funny, what I think is hilarious about that is that penny goes to the state, and the state just pays you back what you would have lost.
That's crazy.
So there's more money up there that the state gets for that, which I mean they run it like a business too. They trying to get as much money as they can, so we can have a good budget and lower other taxes.
Well, at the end of the day, if we stay in and we don't have to do anything to stay in, the first several years nobody's going to see any benefit from this. Maybe year 5 or 6 you may start seeing a little bit of benefit from it, and then you'll like it, and you're going to really start liking it the further it goes. And I can't remember the exact numbers, but 20 years from now, I'm going to tell you the wrong number if I tell you this. It's several $1 million worth of savings for the county homeowners, homestead exemptions. However, when that happens, the millage rate's going to have to go up to compensate for that. That's the only way to do it. So it'll look good if we let this go in. It'll look great for all the county commissioners right now that are sitting there. Like, hey, this is a good thing during my tenure. But 15, 20 years down the road, there's going to be a mutiny at the courthouse because of how high the taxes are around here. So, I really want to look at things on a long-term scale and say, hey, because listen, I voted yes on when I went to go vote, I voted yes for that homestead exemption because the way that I read that,
It made it look really good.
I was under the assumption if I didn't vote for this, I was going to lose my homestead exemption.
Oh.
And that's not the case. If we don't do anything, the homestead exemption, if we opt out,
you still get the homestead.
The homestead stays like it is now. So Eddie had a couple really good ideas yesterday. I talked to him about it. I'm not going to broadcast them out here because they're just ideas. But there's some ways that we can, with some help from the state, there's some ways that we could lower taxes in this county, and we are going to be actively looking at that.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, I know a lot of people are going to hear this and say that they don't like it. Generally speaking, a sales tax for us is a good way of doing that because we, like you mentioned, I-75. You get all that traffic coming through I-75. Buc-ee's. When they stop in Buc-ee's and buy those Buc-ee nuts everybody loves, well, Monroe County gets a little piece of that pie.
Yeah.
So that's the only way with these special taxes that we can bring extra money into our county that's not from our county.
Yep.
So I'm not against that type of thing, but we just have to make it make sense. I think we're just muddying the water by saying, here's a new homestead exemption thing that we're going to save everybody money, but then by the way, we're going to have to add an extra tax too. I don't,
Yeah.
We gotta trim some fat off of this.
And we got 2 more meetings for that, or just 1?
2 more.
2 more. And what are those dates?
One of them's going to be on the normal meeting, the first Tuesday of the month, and we postponed the other one until I don't know when because of the weather last week.
Okay,
it was supposed to be last week.
But everything
this
has to be done before March.
Right.
And then the school's opting out most likely, and then
the school has nothing to gain from it.
Yeah, and then the city's probably going to opt out, but they only make $300,000 in property taxes anyway.
I've not talked to any other county around here that wants to stay in it.
Yeah.
Now, that and $5 get you a cup of coffee at the Waffle House. So
yeah, they but that's going to be interesting to learn a little bit. I mean, we feel like we've learned everything about it already and still have no idea what it's about.
So it's only 27 pages. So if anybody's interested in reading it, go look House Bill 581. And I've read it several times. I've let the computer read it to me several times, and there's just a lot of garbage, that.
Like I said, and a lot of people, I think what they're going to get out of it is they're going to go back up to Atlanta and look at it again and hopefully change some things and make it more simplify it. And I hope that gets done. Anything else in the county that you're excited about?
I'm excited about working with the city. That's something that I feel like I've talked with Josh Hill several times on the phone now, and for whatever reason, different counties and cities just don't always get along, and I'm really looking forward to trying to make that bond a little bit better because we're all Monroe County.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one thing I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Just what you're doing, because this is getting information out to people. Mm-hmm. This is saying, hey, our political people that we have in power here in the county are just citizens that want the best for everybody. Mm-hmm. And transparency, I want people to understand what we're doing, why we're doing it. I promised Eddie I wouldn't put that picture on Facebook, but I think that would represent, people don't see that.
No, they don't.
They don't see how much time that goes into this, and I'm not trying to toot anybody's horn here, but it's not a free ride.
No, you definitely do more than what you're paid for with the county, but that's what you do. That's what you expect when you sign up.
Yeah, we all raised our hand and said we're willing to do this.
Yeah, but I like asking about church. So you said you went to Maynard. You still go to Maynard?
I do. Yeah.
You still go to Maynard, and it's on
Juliet Road.
Juliet.
Right.
Anything exciting there going on
Yeah.
soon?
Man, we got a fantastic GA group for the young girls that going on there. Our youth group's growing. Our whole church is growing.
Good.
Growing good. I currently still teach Sunday school there, so if anybody's out looking for a church to go to, come see me. We're down there. I try to keep politics out of there, but it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough sometimes.
No, I think church is probably what everybody needs to do. Not just even if you're a Christian, just watch it on Facebook or YouTube. I think you need to be in church and fellowship with everybody.
Well, we're built for that. We're built to be around people, and that's something that we all should have learned from COVID. Yeah. Lockdowns are not good for our well-being in general. So
yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out about the kids that went through that and didn't go to school for two years or however long it was. Thankfully, I was out of school. I was working at Geico, and I just went through training, and we're going into transition so we can be on the floor on our own. And they said, like, this is a week before that, the CEO came down, and some of the people had asked questions, and they're like, hey, would we ever work remotely? And the CEO himself said, no, we would never consider working remotely. And 2 weeks later, they're sending us home with our laptop, with laptops, because COVID, which it was a very quick transition. It didn't really affect us that much because nobody drove. Mm-hmm. But then it affected them a few years down the road because they started making massive layoffs, realizing that they don't need these giant big office buildings and spend so much money on that when they can save money and people can work from home.
Yeah. Oh, there was some good stuff that came from that.
Yeah. People learned a lot. I think next time hopefully there's not a next time. But we'll be more prepared because we haven't had that in this age where we have technology and you can call somebody across the world and FaceTime them. So it was interesting watching all that happen. And what did you go through? What were you doing during COVID?
So I was working in the field, and I was by myself most of the time. Of course, everybody did try to social distance as much as they could, but we still had a railroad to run. Yeah. So we were mainly by ourselves anyway. But let me go back to what you were saying about the technology we have now. This is great. I think having be able to communicate with people and whatever is great like this. However, I still believe it is not a replacement for being face to face with somebody and actually getting to, because once you turn this off, you can pause it or walk away or whatever, and you're missing a lot of the interaction. So I don't think it's a replacement. There's definitely some jobs that don't have to be in work to do whatever they're doing, but
no, I left because I didn't like working from home.
Yeah,
I got another job because I was back in the office. So I was seeing people come in, even with the mask on, you still have that interaction with people, and that's why I love doing insurance. But you are how many years until retirement for you?
Let's see. I don't know that I like the word retirement, and that may sound strange, but I don't know, Noah.
To your extended fishing trip.
At 60, I could retire from the railroad. I'm 47 now. I'm just not the type of person that really.
You're gonna work.
I'm gonna work.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna be working. I'm gonna be doing something.
My granddad was the same way.
Yeah.
He got very upset when he wasn't mobile anymore because he couldn't go outside. Because even when he was a little bit mobile, we'd go outside and we'd move a pile of bricks to one area of the yard, and then a month later he'd make us move it to another part of the yard.
Yeah,
just because he was a worker, he had to be outside doing something with his hands.
Well, I think that keeps you young too and alive. I mean, I don't know. You can ask my wife if something comes up where I'm stuck inside the house for 2 or 3 days, I'm ready to go. Even vacations.
Even the snow, I saw you didn't even stay in for the snow. You put chains on your tires.
Yeah, I just can't handle it. I've got to. I personally feel like I need to be doing something productive, and I need to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I'm doing something in a way that's in a positive way for somebody else too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's been almost 45 minutes. Couple things that are going on in the county that not the UDO, the HB 581.
Yeah.
Voting on that. We got 2 more meetings on that. Buc-ee's is coming.
Yep.
We got Oglethorpe Power coming. We got a data center coming. So a lot of great things. A lot of great things coming to Monroe County. We got a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And usually when Chick-fil-A comes, other things follow.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what else they have coming because I was excited when we got a QT.
Yeah. That area right there is going to grow.
Yeah. I'm excited to see that. And then what else is going on in the county? Any news you can think of? I know we got Forsythia Festival coming up in March.
Yeah. We have, I forgot the date. I think it's February the 18th. This is something I really like. There's going to be some teachers that come up to the meeting, the county commissioners meeting. We're going to have a little discussion with them too about what kind of businesses are coming in to the county. What does the curriculum need to look like? How can we better prepare our students for going into that? So that's something I'm excited about too. There's a place for computers, for technical type jobs like that, IT work. There's all that, but I see a growing area right now, and not just here but everywhere, where we need blue collar people. I mean, these are good jobs that people can go out and do: electrical work, HVAC, framing houses, mechanics, all that kind of stuff keeps our country going.
Yeah.
And it is getting very hard to get that kind of work done right now.
Yeah.
And they make a lot of money. Those guys are making a lot of money.
Yeah, they are, right. And 18-year-olds are making a lot of money if they're smart enough to get into it, which I wish I would have done. But Dad told me growing up he didn't want me crawling into their houses like he did.
Plumbing, yeah. Yeah, but nowadays a plumber or electrician or one of those guys can charge what they want. I mean, what are you going to do? If you can't flush the toilet in your house, what are you going to do?
Most people don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're exactly right. I didn't know about that. That's going to be interesting to watch. And it's just a regular meeting, the 9 o'clock meeting on the third Tuesday?
The third. I think it's February. And I could be telling you the wrong date. No, I don't have it.
I think the 15th is my birthday. So it would
Yeah.
be a Saturday. My birthday's on Saturday. 16th, 17th, 18th is a Tuesday.
Yeah, I think it's 18th.
And then we have Monroe County Day, February 6th. So if you want to be part of the Monroe County crew that goes up to the Capitol and gets shown around, and the Capitol is a beautiful place. Have you been up there?
No, I've not.
So
not inside the building.
Oh man, it's an incredible place. I fell in love with it the first time I walked in there.
Yeah.
But I think that's everything we got today. If unless you have something you want to mention.
I'm an open book, and please reach out to me. If anybody in the county just wants to talk to me or meet me for lunch or whatever, give me a call and let's get together. My schedule's pretty tight right now, but what you have to say matters to me. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear that.
Yeah, just call, and even if it goes to voicemail, I know Alan will call you back. But Alan, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate you being my second interviewee.
Yeah, thank you.
And look forward to what you're going to do for our county, and I appreciate you stepping out and doing that.
Thanks, Noah.
I appreciate it.